Hello, everyone. My name is Wanjiro Morethi of Wine Jiro Exclusives, and thank you for joining us on this platform where we have conversations with lovely, interesting people in the wine space, in the food space, in travel and tourism, and whichever of my friends is willing to give me a day. I'm really, really happy today. We are in Kilimani in Nairobi, Kenya, at Galana Plaza, Five Senses restaurant. This used to be my haunt back in the day, and I'm glad to be back. It's been a minute. And our lovely guest is Chef Kim Kiarie, the owner, the founder of this restaurant. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Anjiro.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Karibuni. And this is your space.
Yes.
We've known each other for a while.
For a long time, yes. I used to have a corner with free Wi-Fi where the phone would just connect, and of course, lovely, lovely food. I attended a few events. I mean, we'll mention some of them as the conversation goes on.
Okay.
But you know, restaurant businesses in Kenya are a dime and a dozen.
Okay.
There are all sorts of formats and they're growing, right? Yeah. Five Senses is a very interesting name. Where did you get that?
So it started off where I'd like come up with like the idea of the restaurant.
Yes.
I had to come up with a name, right? So looking around, there were so many names, and traditionally people have like, those like Kima, like when you're married, you have like, your last name, first names. So for me, it was like I wanted to make an experience out of the restaurant.
Yes.
For me, it was like once you come into the restaurant, what do you experience? And it was like there are five senses that we as humans have, and that's what we experience life through. So five senses came from the aspect of wanting a customer, a client, someone who's dining to experience the five senses once they have left the door.
The door, okay.
So once you come in, you have sight, sound, smell, sight,
sound, smell, taste,
and
which is the food. We'll remember it.
So all touch.
Oh, touch, of course.
So all those.
Thank you for remembering.
So like all those are they check the boxes once you leave, and that's where the name Five Senses came from. And for me, it was like have good food, the ambience, the music from the surround, smell from the kitchen, because the kitchen used to be open before COVID.
Okay.
The smells are going and out of the kitchen. Touch, just being able to pick up your food, try it. Even though we say it's fine dining, like you can always enjoy food. You enjoy food better when it's contact. It's not at metallic.
Absolutely.
Spoons, fork and knives. So that was the idea behind the Five Senses.
The Five Senses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, given that you are French trained, you didn't go with a le something, or your Kenyan roots, it could have been a sagret type or mudokinju.
It could have.
Yeah.
It's just that it wouldn't have been authentic.
Okay.
It would not have been me behind the brand.
Sure.
I needed something I could relate with.
Yeah.
Something I could talk about.
Yeah.
Not something you asked and then you're like, okay, let me. I can't really remember why. But so I just needed something that I can relate with, something that I'd be passionate. Because for me, it's also a brand.
Yes, a big one.
It's so I'm trying to build a brand as well in the process. It's a restaurant, but Five Senses in itself can be a brand. So it's just like trying to how can it fit into anything else that would be not necessarily a restaurant.
True.
So that was the idea. I'm happy with that, and it's different. And I remember at the time, I think when I searched, there was no Five Senses. Right now, if you look around, there's Five Senses in Greece. Like
there's many others.
To Five Senses, in other countries. But even if you look at how old, I think this was one of the first Five Senses names that we actually made. If I'm not wrong, I can be corrected.
You can be corrected. Not to worry, we know you for that. And clearly your location is, iconic place. And everybody who knows it understands it. But where did this begin? Was this a case of when I grow up, I want to be a chef? What was your background? Or were you like some of us who were in other professions before we moved into wine?
I think for me, I always knew that I wanted to become a chef.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Case in point, or a funny story is that even by, I think, Form 2, I was done. I was done with school. I was ready to quit. I remember one day, my mom, and she may come up a lot.
Yeah.
She picked me up from school. And this was like, those breaks you go for the weekend and come back.
Yeah.
It was boarding
it was
school.
boarding school. Okay.
It was boarding school.
Yeah.
So I was just like, hey, I'm done. I'm quit. No, I just want to open a cyber. It has Wi-Fi, and I want to sell mandazis and samosas. I'm done. I'm done. And she was just like, okay, yeah, you can do that. True, you can finish school.
Yeah.
And learn and go learn how to cost. Her main issue was costing and understanding the business
yes.
aspect
Yes.
of starting or running a business. For me, it's always been, I just know how to cook. I just want to cook. Prior to that, we used to bake a lot at home. So that's how that passion started. So yeah, by Form 2, let's just say I was clear all through. I wanted to become. I never looked sideways. I know that at some point I was being told I need to be a businessman. You need to go to Strathmore and do all these certificates and courses. I was like, no,
not at all.
No, thank you. I'm quite comfortable where I am, and I really know what I want.
Yeah,
and I pursued it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and you were lucky to have it. What school was this that really caused you problems that you didn't want to return to?
I don't want to mention.
You don't want to mention it. Okay, so we know it wasn't Alliance.
No, it was
because if it was, you'd have
it was in Kangundo, those sides.
Okay, fine, got it.
Yeah,
okay.
but it played an aspect to being where I am today.
And clearly you did go back because then you finished your high school.
No, I did. I did. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I actually saw it through.
Yeah.
Because, even with papers and certificates and just being able, I think the hospitality restaurant industry, you need to be resilient. So there's some things you can't just wake up and say, I'm done.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're going through or how you feel. Just finish and move on. Okay. Yeah.
So after high school, how do you then get yourself into Europe and work in all these wonderful places before you come back home?
It was so for me after high school, I really wanted to go abroad.
Yeah.
Then again, I was told, listen, you still need to prove yourself. I think I was still a bit playful, not very mature. I'd say.
Are you the last born?
No, I'm a twin, so I'm a second. But my sisters are very studious, very, very focused.
Okay.
And for me, I was just in my element for a very long time. I was just who I was. I really didn't care. I didn't listen to rules. Like in school, I was just that person that didn't care for anything.
Yeah.
So I was just told, listen, you play too much. You need to stay in Nairobi.
Wow.
You need to do like a diploma,
in
even
something.
2-3 years in something. And because you want to do culinary, so I went to Top Chef. I applied to Top Chef.
Oh, lovely.
For 2 years.
Okay.
And
Top Chef is where?
Top Chef used to be in Westlands.
Okay.
They used to call it Electric Avenue, but I think it moved. I'm not sure where it
is now.
But it's still in Westlands.
It's still, okay.
Yeah. So having done that, once I was done with school and graduated, they were offering like score points or ways where you can go into a school in Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
Without starting from the beginning. So it's like credits. So I was able to go up a year or two and join in like in year 3.
Yeah.
Something of the sort. And that's how I ended up in Switzerland.
Okay.
And I was there for about 3 years.
3 years. Okay. So you turned your diploma into
a degree.
A degree, okay.
And it was mainly, I felt like it was mainly business oriented. We still had culinary aspects of it, but for me it was very business. It was how to start a business, how to run a business, balance sheet, law, all these things. And for me it was just like, oh my God, I just want to cook. But we were cooking, but it wasn't to that level that I really wanted.
Okay.
And at the time I went, I think when I was at the school, we had trips to Dubai, and I made good friends with one of the teachers, the lecturers, and they were like, oh, listen, we have an opportunity and I think you're really good. We have someone who's looking for a chef or an intern in Paris, in one of Dorchester Collection hotels. And it was between going to Barcelona and going to Paris.
Wow.
Barcelona was Ritz-Carlton. Paris was, the Dorchester collection, and it was Michelin versus, I was just like, whew. So at the point, I was just like, I can't get into Paris. Let me not even think about Paris.
Yeah.
So I started applying for
Barcelona,
the Ritz-Carlton. And halfway through it, my mom just told me, why don't you also try Paris? Because, if your teacher recommended you, then... And for me, it was the visa aspect, because Barcelona didn't need a visa. I already had a Schengen visa.
Okay.
So I would easily go into Paris. I needed to get a new visa, because as I'm African, I'm going into and this was in Switzerland. I have to go into a French embassy, start applying for, all these processes. So I was just told, try,
yeah.
So I did, and I got the visa even before the guys in Barcelona got back to me.
Wow.
So for me, it was just like, I'm going to Paris. And I think the first 6 months of my internship, that was when I experienced French cuisine. This was at Le Maurice. And for me, I was just like, I'm sold.
Wow.
This is all I want to do. So I went back to school, I graduated. And after graduating, I was like, I need to enhance this, because I felt like what I did in Switzerland was very business oriented. So that's when my girlfriend at the time helped me look for a school in France, which was Alain Ducasse.
Okay.
And I was still at Le Maurice, still had a part of Alain Ducasse there. So there was a school in Paris, and that's how I ended up in the school.
Wow.
And ended up also going to a Michelin star restaurant.
You forgot
the name will come. I don't know, I've forgotten the name.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, we need to use that it's Michelin star, right?
Yeah. And that was like my full-blown experience.
Your full-blown experience. For someone who didn't like school, in its initial sense, right?
Yeah,
and of course, Top Chef, I guess you enjoyed it.
I loved
because that
it.
was purely cooking,
That
right?
was purely cooking,
For 2 years. I actually have a friend who also went to Top Chef, and he's been, we've covered him before, but he's now a wine person. He's called Spencer.
All right. Okay.
Spencer, he's based in South Africa.
All right.
But he's a Kenyan guy as well, right? But now he's a sommelier proper.
Yeah.
Also went to Top Chef. And I mean, there's, of course, other big names as well.
Yeah.
But also thinking about my sister and my niece.
Okay.
My sister was, I want to be a chef.
That's it.
They tried to divert her to some animal veterinary thingy for a year. And it didn't work, right? And of course, she went to Italy and got in. I think it was easier for my niece because then at least there are all these schools available now, and she was at Bookmark as well. But I can see how, the passion is there of this is what I want to do, and nobody will talk you out of it, right? And you go ahead and you put it. But then you're saying you learned more business in Switzerland, and you were identified still as a top student to be given other opportunities.
Yeah.
Interesting. So don't worry about those who don't want to stay in school and want to quit, because clearly...
No, I think once you love something, you love it.
You love it,
If you're set up in a situation or in a place where you enjoy something, you will actually do it. If you're being forced to do it and you don't like it, you're just like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But if you're in the environment where you feel, okay, I can relate, I can understand, trust me, the same math that was in high school is the same thing we were doing. It's not that we understood it, it's just that it was easier you had a feeling of like, I need to understand what is going on, so I need to learn it. And
you're learning it for a purpose.
And exactly.
It's not just maths for maths. It's maths so that I can sell my samosas.
Exactly. You're able to cost something and sell something and make some money out of it. It's not just something out of the blue that you don't really get to use eventually. So it was just like, I also didn't understand it at the time, because also wine, I really struggled. Let me not lie, I've struggled with wine. Like we had so my first wine, I first came across wine in Switzerland, and these guys are like terroir, like the grapes, you can't mess it, you cannot, and we my teacher was actually a sommelier and very strict, a very cool guy. And I remember the culinary school, and there was the business school. So the business school, they were allowed to have like open book during exams. Us as culinary, and I was like, I'm not gonna sell wine. I'm cooking.
Yes.
I'm not selling wine. Why are you telling me to? It should be the other way around.
The other way around, exactly.
Because ideally, there would be the guys on the floor, or head of F&B, stuff like that. But so I had to kind of shift. And accept. And be like, okay, I can do this.
You can do this.
Because for me, I'd never seen wine as something I'd end up doing or wanting to do.
Yes.
But it somehow came up and I just had to run with it.
And you're still running with it because you have a great selection of wine at your restaurants, which we will come to as well.
Yeah.
Paris. I have never been.
Paris
sadly.
Paris is beautiful.
Sadly, it's on my bucket list.
Okay.
Yeah, but what was that like? I mean, of course, I know you're there for work and study.
Yeah.
But tell us about your living experiences.
Paris was, I'd say over summer was really cool.
Okay.
The people are much happier in summer.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I lived in a winter country and I know
it's different.
There was different people in spring and summer.
Yeah, it's different. It's very, when it blooms and the flower blooms. Majority of my time was winter.
Okay.
But I really also didn't step out a lot because it was like work. You're at work at 10 a.m. You go back to the house at 1. You get in the house at 1. It was just like, I'm here for a purpose. I'm here to learn. I had my first drunken experience in Paris. There are things you remember.
Yes.
But I'd say it was an experience that I'll never forget. Mainly because that's the first place I fell in love with French food.
Okay.
I had one of the dishes that really spoke to me in Paris. And I was just like, okay, now I understand why I'm a chef.
Okay.
This is why I'm able to appreciate food. And actually tried serving the dish here and people didn't like it. And I was just like, okay.
What dish was this? Can we have it for lunch? What is this? What is it exactly?
It was
even the way your expression changed when you say that's when I had the dish. Yeah. It changed my life.
It was like fish canal. So it's like blended fish, pike fish. You blend it and, with a bit of muslin, cream, a bit of eggs, and then you kind of poach it so it floats. And
okay, wait. When you say poached fish, it's a fillet that has been...
Yeah, so you blend it.
Okay.
Blend it and add cream,
whoa.
Salt and pepper.
Wow.
And then poach it. And then then finish it off in this amazing sauce.
Okay.
So it can be a champagne sauce, it can be a bisque base sauce.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that when I had the first time, and also there's a blood sausage pudding that also had those two ones.
Blood sausage like mutura.
Yeah, like mutura. but theirs is intense. The intensity of the food.
Of the flavor.
The flavor. French food is always flavor forward. So that was just an experience for me, and I was just like, people can cook at different levels to food.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so that fish
canal.
You said you tried to make it here.
I tried to make it here the first time we opened the restaurant in 2018. It was a hit and miss. It had more misses than hits.
The French people liked it.
They did. The ones who knew.
It.
Because I've also come to learn that they come from different regions.
Okay.
And also, food is also very different in all these regions.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
So someone might come and you'd expect them to know, but they don't, and they try and you need to explain where it is from, how
educate the people.
But once they see and you actually understand and you actually know where the food is from, then there's a kind of, okay, I get you.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. But Paris was, I think it's one of those cities that one has to visit, both winter, summer, and just enjoy the food.
Okay.
And also enjoy the environment because it's also very lovely. It's chill. I don't know what else to say about it because
it's an African city too. There's the other side.
It is. It's all there's the very different parts of the city.
Yeah,
so you I think all rounded. Once you visit, because I was in Paris twice. Once for an internship and work and school. So there's one time I was living right above a cafe, and it was in the African neighborhood.
Yes.
So it was just wow, And then the next time I went, I was living next to the Eiffel Tower. That was so surreal.
Wow.
That was it was two different environments in a span of a year.
Wow.
And it was just amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. To change up. Yeah.
And I see when you upgraded the restaurant from before now, there's an all Parisian theme.
Yeah, because
around here.
Yeah,
nobody should wonder what kind of theme or what your training is in this particular space.
I think it speaks for itself, and also like it reminds me where I've come from.
Ale blue.
Exactly. It's like a journey. Like where have you come from?
Yeah.
What have you gone through? Because that was the most significant point of my culinary journey. To get here. Yeah.
So clearly French food has an impact on you, and you've mentioned some aspects of French food. You said it's very flavor forward. What else is signature about French food?
It's very.
I know they say butter. But
there's butter, but with the times, the different like cooking techniques, butter has also been reduced.
Oh, really? Okay.
Also in terms of health, but butter it's not unhealthy. It's actually quite healthy.
Yes.
It's better than your corn oil, but it's flavor forward. It's simple. Sauce. The sauces, the sides, the side sauces or the sauces on the plate is actually what makes French. Italy, is pizza, pasta. They're not very saucy. But French, they're very heavy. Very delicate as well. So it's finding that balance. And that's what I'd say about French food.
And of course, you use that as a sort of base of your knowledge, but then you bring your own flair from your other experiences as a Kenyan.
Yeah, as a Kenyan,
as a Kyuk.
Kyuk is hard. What do you have? Waru, but
waru and lots of water.
Exactly, and just dufu, but and peas. But it's
I'd forgotten about minji.
But I think culture. Culture has a lot to do with where I am at now. Because basically what I'm using is basically the techniques that we have in French cooking, and then trying to use the ingredients that we have locally to try and then make what I'd call a reflection of who I am. Not technically what Kenya is.
Yes.
Because everyone is different. Everyone has a different interpretation to what food can be. So for me, it's just like finding or enlightening people through my story. And presenting myself on a plate.
I like that. Difficult. I like that. Presenting myself on a plate.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's difficult because then someone has to know who you are, your story. 3, what you're doing, and where you're heading. So for those people who just want to go to a restaurant and eat, and that's why I say, like, when you come to Five Senses, you really need to have an open mind. You may have an expectation, but just come with an open mind. Because you're not getting your fish and chips, you're not getting, your steak poivre. It's not mushroom, and it's different. It's something that maybe I've thought over and tried a few times and then presented it. And it's not what it's not what is out there. It's basically what I've interpreted it to be. So then the people are like, no, you shouldn't be doing that.
But then the others who are like, wow, I can't believe I'm in Nairobi, right?
Exactly.
And this is what I'm experiencing here from a Kenyan chef.
So it's just like, it's just the understanding of what French cuisine is. And for me, it's not even understanding it. As long as you love food, as long as you love the idea of food, and as long as you want to try and give it a shot, and are able to then understand textures, and understand the different flavors, profiles, then I think this would be a perfect
place to be.
Yeah.
So then you had your Parisian experience. Then before getting back to Nairobi, where did the world take you? Where in the world did you go? Sorry.
So the world took me to, I had two options. It was either go to the UK or go to Qatar. So I tried off the UK, but because of papers and stuff like that didn't work out. I was there for a week, and then I was told, okay, listen, we have still under the brand. I was told
the Dorchester
it was still Alain Ducasse.
Alain Ducasse.
I was told, okay, listen, we've got a restaurant in Qatar. And I was like, wait.
Oh, the same brand, yes.
Same brand. And I was just like, Middle East. I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything in Nairobi, and I'm not gonna because I came home for a year. I was actually home for a year.
Okay.
I was just doing nothing. I was just, they just do mark timing for a year.
Really? Okay.
Actually, mark time for a year. And I was just like, okay, fine. Yeah. So you want to go to Qatar? And I was just like, because it was no interview, nothing. Because they
already had you.
My profile and everything, and I'd worked in the company. And I was just told, listen, show up, give your thingy to the HR. And I was told, yeah, come. After a month, I was told, here, just apply for your visa and come. And I went. And it was a bit of a shock.
Culture shock?
Yeah, culture shock.
Weather shock?
The weather. Let's not even go to the weather. It was just, I think it was just an experience. It humbles you.
Okay.
The whole kitchen experience also was also very humbling. Mainly because you find that, it's Arabic.
Okay.
Then your head chefs are French. Then majority of the people you're working with are Asian.
Okay.
And then I was the only Kenyan.
Wow.
In the kitchen. So out of a team of maybe 20 people, I was the only Kenyan.
Mm-hmm.
That's color, skin, everything.
Yeah.
It's just, so it was very different.
Okay. But then Paris as well. I mean, were there other...
Paris, there's a whole, the guys from Mali.
Okay. They are the other African people.
They speak French and they expect you not to drink alcohol, but you're like, bro, me, I'm from Kenya.
Okay.
Me, I'm Christian.
Okay.
So it was okay.
Yeah.
But on the aspect of, also Qatar, it's very different.
Yeah, okay.
The limitations, the rules and regulations, living in a household of, you're living with coworkers, it was very humbling. It was a very humbling experience.
There was no Eiffel Tower view.
It was a desert. More desert.
Yeah. But then, you're like an expatriate now. So surely perhaps earnings are...
The different levels of being an expatriate.
Okay.
The different levels of being an expatriate. So, yeah, you're an expatriate, but are you really...
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just one of those places where I think, it changed or really made me think about what I really wanted to do.
Okay.
Because, like in France, you're comfortable, the environment is nice, you're learning. In Qatar, it was just like, okay, what am I doing here? Like, I could be at home and I could be doing something for myself.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to be here. And the thing is that when I went to Qatar, I didn't feel that welcome.
Okay.
So it was just like, it was survival. So I was just like, I'd rather be home. I'd rather be crying daily than crying in a different country altogether. So it was just like, okay, I need to make some changes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did you survive the desert?
1 year, 3 monmonths.
So 1 year,
I had to hit 1 year.
You had to hit a year
because you can't say I worked somewhere for 8 months.
No, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, it's kind of like
it has to be over the gestation period.
Exactly. You've done your 3 months and then you've done a year and. You're just like, okay, I survived and I can say it was intense.
Wow.
In terms of duties, in terms of just responsibilities, in terms of just being able to show up, just showing that you're capable.
Yeah.
And you're not just there for the sake of just being there, because everyone had to prove themselves and because it also there were not as many as in the other restaurants.
Sure.
So the workload was more.
Okay.
So you also had to just be on like fifth gear like.
But then again, so the clientele is who? The people coming most to the restaurants, the tourists, or it's more the
expatriates.
Okay. Caucasian expatriates.
Expatriates, exactly.
Yeah, working in Qatar. Okay.
Yeah, the Qataris.
The Qataris.
Yeah. So it was them. Yeah, because it wasn't a cheap restaurant.
Yeah.
It was affordable. It was quite expensive.
Prime.
Yeah, it was prime.
Wow.
Because there was no, the Asia, parts of Asia and Africa don't have the guide. So it would be part of it, but it's not. It's that level. That
standard. Yeah.
That standard of kind of service and kind of food. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not quite there yet here.
No.
Is there anything comparable?
No. I think we're very far.
We're very far.
We're very far.
And yet we are the star of the region. Yeah, it's the star of the region. People come and they're like, wow. But yet, if you really know what world class is, then there's a huge gap. Yeah,
because I feel East Africa, you'd say Kenya.
Yes.
If you're talking Africa, you're looking at South Africa.
South Africa, definitely.
You're looking I look at South Africa, and I'm just like, I'd really love to go to South Africa.
Really?
Just experience the food, the wine, the culture, because they're on a different level. They understand amazing service. They understand even the different plates. Like you get different plates sourced from like Zim,
yes,
from Malawi, and you're like, interesting.
Interesting.
You know, Kenya is just like, we're still using our ceramic plates. Okay, and that's what you can get if you're looking for something different. VAT on it is unaffordable. So you're just like, and the appreciation for different things, game, the appreciation for wine, like when South Africa is on a different level.
Yeah.
So I caught a feeling the other day. So my mom went to celebrate her birthday in South Africa.
Love it.
Last week, yeah.
Happy birthday, Mom.
So she went to, I think.
In fact, let's drink to her. Let's toast to Mom.
Sure.
Sorry, cheers.
So she went to this restaurant called Finn. And it's in the top, I think top.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah. And she was just telling me, how this place is amazing. And I'm just like, just like, really? Like, really?
Are you telling me? Me, your son who's a chef.
You're comparing me to, I was just like, and I was like, anyway, Kim, it's okay, one day. One day. And yeah, I think South Africa has a lot.
Have you been?
No, I haven't.
What a travesty.
I haven't.
Yeah, I'll be your tour guide in Cape Town.
Yeah?
And then you can take me, when you be a tour guide in Paris,
sure,
right? Then we have a deal. We have a deal. Yeah?
Sure, that would, that because I feel like that's the places there.
Cape Town, and the thing is this, even the pricing is quite affordable in terms of what you get compared to what you get in Kenya.
Yes.
We won't talk about your menu yet. Let's say for this, I could get, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But then, how did we get to Nairobi from Qatar? And how did we get this started? Was it like already... I don't know. Did you just have to put yourself in? And I'm saying this because I also know about my experience having been away from home for 12 years.
Yeah.
And when I lived in South Africa, I used to come pretty often. So you think you know and understand what's going on. But then you come and make the move.
Yeah.
And to start something like a new business where you're not necessarily going into a job. It's quite quite a culture shock.
It is.
Yeah, people talk about the culture shock for going somewhere, but even the reintegration is a whole other ball game. Yeah. And then let's talk about not even doing business in Kenya type of culture shock, but
that's different.
But just how do I create this new thing? So how was that for you?
I guess I was very eager.
Yeah.
And I really didn't care. I was just like, I need it
done. The audacity of hope.
Yeah, I just need it done and I will do it and I don't care what's coming.
Yeah.
I had a good team.
Okay.
I had a team behind me who supported the dream. We had a few, it's not misunderstanding, but we're not aligned in terms of what I really wanted and what they saw, economies of scale, in terms of how many people or the size of the restaurant. For me, it was like, I really wanted a small restaurant. 10 people.
Wow.
Like, I'm done. The idea was simple. Have a kitchen.
Like a chef's table type of thing.
Table, have people come and like you'd rotate.
Wow.
Like, that was the idea. And for me, it was just like have 2 or 3 people that I'm with and maybe have a service and just a very small
meet,
where you get to know people. Because for me, dining experience was about getting to know your clients. Getting to know, even I have a problem with like the capacity we are at now. Because people come in, fine. It's very easy to say that a chef should come and say hello. But at the end of the day, do you really want me to come and say hello? Like, but if you're in that kind of setup,
it's
very easy for us to have a conversation. Even though I'm cooking at some point, I'll be like, hey, hi, how you doing?
Hello, you okay?
Like the Japanese style of, sushi and, So for me, that was the idea. And that's the 5 senses. It was just like, have this connection. Because, we still try. And especially the service team at the moment. Make sure there's a connection.
There's a connection, yeah.
Even though it's not through me, but somehow you still get that connection.
Okay. So this is what, on a second floor of a commercial building. I know there was clubs upstairs and downstairs before.
Yeah.
You started at 60 packs.
Yes.
Cover, which is that's not a small restaurant. I mean, it's maybe mid-size. I don't know whether there's any larger than that.
There should be.
The comparative sort of fine dining spaces.
Fine dining should be like 20. Like
really,
majority. You look at majority of the fine dining spaces in Nairobi.
20 max. Okay, wow.
60 was like, wow.
And now you're doing triple that, right?
I was just like, no.
Well, okay, Kilimani is mixed residential and commercial, so maybe that's not a problem. Yeah, so you had this dream, you got something bigger.
Different, yeah.
You opened in 2018.
Yes.
And you're still open even now.
We're still open till now, by God's grace.
Yeah.
And a lot of prayers.
This is 6 years later. That is huge. Yeah. That is a child in what grade? I don't know. Standard 1 in my time. I don't know what grade is now.
Somewhere there, CBC, you know.
Yeah. And to have survived COVID.
Yeah. That was challenging. That was challenging in itself because I think there were like three months that were non-operational.
Okay.
But we
full closure for 3 months. Okay.
I remember when everyone was on lockdown.
Yes.
But we were fortunate enough to have a landlord who like kind of reduced the rates.
Okay, great.
That helped, but when you want something bad enough, you kind of find ways of making
it happen. Okay.
And also I've had a support system.
Okay.
And I'm really grateful for that support system because I know if I was alone, this would not be standing.
Okay.
At the moment.
Yeah.
So that support system has also helped me keep going.
Okay.
And not have to worry about that kind of aspect. Well, I need to worry about it.
Yeah, but
it's not the first thing, or maybe I'll think about it. It's maybe the second.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like how to maintain and keep the business running.
All right. So you have operational support, financial support.
Yeah.
And then again, we talk about experts being like a doctor being a doctor plus running his business. I think it's the same with a chef.
There's
the cooking, but then there's there's the operational side as well.
Operational side, which takes so that category. So like hotels, the chefs, head chefs, executives. Your work is to look at food cost. Your work is has this one come to work? No. HR
and
follow up.
Yeah.
That story ends there. As I'd call this, it's a chef owner. You're a chef.
Yes, exactly.
So basically, your marketing, your HR, you're looking at paying
accounts,
licenses. You may have an accountant, but you still have to be there present.
Yeah,
you still have to develop the menu. A guest comes in, they're like, oh no, I want to speak to Chef Kim. Okay, here I am. It's task. It's work overload.
Right? You open 6 days a week.
6 days a week, yeah.
Lunch and dinner?
Yeah.
And you have a staff complement of what? Is it 20 plus?
Staff 16.
Okay, so 16. Still a lot of people.
Yeah, still a number of people.
Okay.
Yeah. So which is still, because, you still need to work as a team, but you still, life is lifing. If there's anything like that, things are going. Like Kenya at the moment is not the most ideal in terms of economics.
Sure.
So people have problems. Everyone wants a raise, or people have issues at home.
Yeah.
They come to work, they're not happy. You still have to address those kind of issues at the same time. Just be humane about it, even though you're running a business. Because this for me was a thing that I knew would happen. I had an incident in Qatar where things went off real very fast between me and my chef, and how my experience with chefs has not been the best. So for me, coming back home knowing that I'll be a chef owner, I just needed to be the better person. Not the guy who throws the pot.
You don't want to be the Gordon Ramsay.
No. I just needed to be. When I started, at some point I did, but it got to a point where I just needed to reflect and just be like, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
Everyone is going through something. You don't know what people are going through. Talk and see if you can come up with a solution.
And I mean, we get the there are all kinds of shows on TV or whatever that give us different aspects of it. But then the reality is a high pressure environment.
Yeah.
There's, lots of people in a small space doing everything.
Sure.
There is actual heat, physical heat.
And, the hours that
and then it's, it's again high pressure environment. Yeah.
So it can get a bit crazy.
It can get a bit crazy.
It can.
Yeah,
There's so much emotion because being a chef is about emotion.
Wow.
It's about emotion. So
you're creating something, it's your art.
Something.
Yeah.
So I have set a standard. You're pushing someone else to reach that standard.
Yeah.
If they don't reach that standard, you squash them. So you kind of had them in the process.
Yeah.
And you can see someone is going home sad, annoyed, and you've kind of crashed soul, or it's I don't want to,
but it's life.
It's life, and it's just it's emotionally it's very emotionally draining. I
can imagine. Or rather, really, I can.
It's
good thing I'm not a chef. So I'm not very sure where we met, but I know within that period, like when you were new opening, number one, there was a lot of wine events. I mean, food pairing events that happened here. So I was here for a few. You, who claims that you don't know anything about wine, have attended our classes. You did your WSET level 1.
Yes,
we've been waiting. We've been waiting
for 2.
For level 2. But then even that support and that, having that vision and foresight. And knowing I'm a chef, yes, but I need to upskill my knowledge. To come and learn about wine was really great. So we're thankful for that support as well.
Thank you.
And then I know there was a time we had a book club. I'm a member of a book club, and we had a meeting here. But we also had a Kenyan winemaker from Australia. She owns a wine brand called 6212 Nauticals.
Okay.
Which is apparently the nautical miles are what you measure for ships or the maritime, whatever. So it's a distance in nautical miles from Melbourne, where she lives, to Meru, where she's from.
Wow.
Or something like that. So I remember we had an event here also. And there's a time there was 3 wine people featured in the True Love magazine. I think it was December 2018. I'll have to look for that photo, but then I know the shoot.
It was here.
The shoot was here, and there was Melissa Mwende who was featured. Who's now, of course, doing great things in wine. She's actually one of the educators of WSET now.
Oh, nice.
There was Tandi Chemgorem of Domain Kenya and myself, and I know we had the shoot here also. Of course, it was looking different.
It was very different.
It was looking very different. So there's been that association. But I know over and above that, and you've had Michelin chefs come and do events here as well. Whiskey tastings, whatnot. And then now you've been called out for consultancies. I think, what is it, Supper Club at Tigoni?
Yes.
Tigoni Lake House that you did recently as well. Right? Is that something you want to do, in essence, if people can't come to Mohammed?
You go to them.
You go to them. Is that another sort of income stream to grow your business?
I think
since the way you're talking, I don't think you're opening another one.
No, nah. You're opening another. We're shutting this one and opening another elsewhere. But I think yes. I think there's so much you can do with the restaurant, especially because our restaurant
opportunities coming up.
Our restaurant is it's indoor. It's there's no outside seating. There's no that amazing ambience. If you want to do some garden party or something. And so the idea is to sometimes partner with people who have some of these places. And you're able to go do events. And also have them part of that event and do something amazing together. Because I think, when you have, I think food is about experiencing different environments, different people. And, it's an opportunity to also meet new people. So, yes, I'm not, because there's also the idea of maybe having something that is mobile. So that if you want, even if you want to go to, Meru, Mombasa, you're there.
You're there.
And for me, my main constraint is always kitchens. Whenever you call me to a house, I'm just like, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? No? Okay, I'm sorry. Because I'm very specific. I'm very specific. A 4-bar home. I'm not saying home utensils are not, but for the kind of level of food that you will want, that you have seen at the restaurant, with what you're offering me, I may not be able. But if there's something,
you need some cast iron pans, what's the knife? What's a chef's knife?
A nice chef's knife. It doesn't have to be a specific brand, but just a nice chef's knife. And always it's about the fire.
Oh, really?
It's about the fire, like
So
how
gas doesn't do it. Gas cooker.
A gas cooker does, but it's the the output, the pressure, how the amount, how quick the turnover, how fast can you be able to sear something?
Oh, really?
As opposed to something sitting in a pan inachemka kwanza and then it dries.
Oh, got it.
So
okay.
There's that aspect, there's a lot. So
no, here I was thinking, okay, so we support Chef Kim in his business. I'm going to go get some Le Creuset pans. I'm gonna get to do some knives from
add a gas stove.
A gas stove at a certain pressure.
Gas stove.
And then you mentioned Sijui clay plates from Malawi and Zimbabwe. Wow.
Yeah.
So these are, the experience matters.
The experience matters.
Yeah.
Because it's all about experience.
It's not just about the production,
no, it's not,
and the ingredients.
Yeah,
There's the whole other, how we then deliver it to you in time.
It's about just being able, how you're able to, build an experience.
Okay. So what fancy thing have you done? Or
fancy.
Or made more fancy. I don't know. Was there a challenging assignment out of the restaurant that you've had? And Miku and Ami do lovely things at the Lake House, right?
Yeah.
And I've been there in service with Under the Influence, the wine importer, with different chefs. And man, I wasn't built for service.
Service is tough.
Sales of the wine is easy, but then the service elements, the coordinated effort with the chef, and that whole, it's an orchestra.
It really is.
And
you need to be on.
It's lovely to watch, and this is 25 people, right?
Yeah.
But it's still always something marveling to watch. And then of course it's a plated menu.
Plated menus, and you have to finish it. And the climate in Tigoni is not warm.
It's cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
So serving hot food in Tigoni is also a challenge.
Oh wow. So the gas was hot, but
you can also have, so like the idea is also to have like I remember they have like two ovens.
Okay.
Like it's a plate oven.
Wow.
Like one of the plates in the oven to just keep them hot.
Got
I remember we did. It wasn't really challenging. I remember for the 60th anniversary of the restaurant.
Okay.
Which was in July. And I combined it with my birthday.
Oh, okay. And, your birthday is also in July.
It was in July as well.
Awesome.
When I opened the restaurant, it was 7 days to my birthday.
Wow.
I didn't celebrate my birthday that year, 2018. I haven't ever.
This gift.
So this is like my baby.
Yeah.
It's like mother and child.
This is it. Wow. And the French celebrates something in July. 14th, is it 14th July is Bastille Day or something? Anyway, I don't know.
Is it in July?
Is it June or July? Okay, we'll check.
It's a good question.
Sorry.
Shouldn't have brought that up. But so that was this year.
Okay.
And so I talked to Mick and I told him I would like the space to just celebrate. And it wasn't even part of the supper club.
Oh really?
It was just like a 5 senses experience.
Oh really?
And we went ham on that day. Like we had mulled wine for the guest company.
Yeah.
We had champagne.
Oh yeah, July is cold in Kenya. Yeah, so in
Tigoni was something else.
Something else. Yeah.
And it was like, no, it was daytime, but it was one of those experiences I'll never forget.
Wow.
Because even most of the people who came were actually people I've actually connected with.
Okay.
As clients of Five Senses. So I'd call them also family. It's people I'd meet on the street and be like, hi. It's not someone who'd be like, oh, I've been to Five Senses. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. It's actually people that I know.
Yeah.
And it's not that I know through relatives, it's people I've met.
You've met here and built a relationship with. Wow. Yeah. No, the reason we're not there is because I was out of town in July.
Okay.
So it was a fighting.
No, but I think that was
something. Wow.
That was one of the experiences.
How many courses?
It was, I think, 4 to 5 courses.
Wow, lovely.
All plated. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those experiences that I had where, you just had to show up.
Okay.
Even that day, I didn't have my chef's jacket on.
So you were not part of the production?
I was in production, but I was playing host. That was my first event where I really had to play host. I'm not good at hosting. I don't think I'm good at hosting. I didn't really think I'd need to get there.
Okay, but...
Until I realized where people... Okay, so you say you're the chef. So you're having an event. You can't call someone else to host for you. And you're the one talking about the food. You're the one talking about what drinks people are having.
Yeah.
You're the one who's called people to come and celebrate. So you can't have someone else talking about it. So I had to do it. I had a co-host, Jason.
Okay.
From Works with Bees, Dine with the Bees, used to Dine with the Bees.
Okay.
And he helped me through it because he's good at it.
Okay, love it.
And for me, it was just getting to know. But let me tell you, after that event, I was done. For 2 weeks, I was dead. I was finished and exhausted.
Here I am saying I'm going to mark the calendar for next July. And it'll be 7 year celebration.
It would be 7 years.
7 years is a really
7. I think the next would be 10.
Not 7. Okay,
seven.
cool. We'll wait. We'll wait. We will mark all Julys.
That would be like a good like, because I think I'd be 40 or 39.
Okay, almost.
So
almost.
that would be like, if that would be a good milestone. That would be something that would be achievable. And also because there's this dream centered behind what Five Senses can be.
Okay.
So maybe by then that
would be achieved.
So
yeah, and the dream does not involve 15 people.
No, it doesn't.
That dream has gone away.
That dream has gone away.
Because you've managed 60, of course, downgraded, rather reconfigured to 40 packs cover restaurant.
Yeah, and had events that had also about 40.
40.
We had like gin tastings, whiskey tastings,
True.
wine pairings. So I ran away from wine, but I'm back.
Oh,
I'm back.
We may have to edit that out. But anyway, coming to wine, and because you're a WSET Level 1 graduate, of course, and I love your cellar. I love your lovely cellar that you said contains, 200 bottles?
It can do about 150.
150.
And then there's another one.
Yeah. So, of course, we stayed true to South Africa. We have Kumusha and Canon Cop there. And of course, your French heritage. We have a Chateauneuf du Pape here. And Bourgogne Gamay.
Yes.
But then now that we're talking about fine dining, let me tell you a story about Kumusha. Okay. Sorry, if you can hand me the bottle.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Sure. Before I break all this in the meantime, thank you, right?
Yeah.
So Kumusha is a brand by Tinashe Yamudoka. He's actually a Zimbabwean.
Yeah.
But he used to work in the Test Kitchen in Cape Town.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, which was for a long time the top restaurant. They used to open bookings twice a year or something like that, right? Like you would book in January and then you'd have to wait for a booking like in July.
Wow, okay.
Right? So when I lived in South Africa, I had no idea. And I remember the one time I tried to get in, it was my birthday, I was in Cape Town, I knew where it was, and I tried to walk in, I was told, Madam.
Reservation.
Anyway, so I learned my lesson, right? So I booked, and you actually have to provide credit card details.
Yes.
So in essence, you have to say, I'm booking for 6 for like
2 months,
25th March.
Yeah, next year or something.
And they take your credit card details.
Yeah.
And of course, the meal is X amount. If you don't show, they actually still charge something. Anyway, now the challenge was, will I be in Cape Town on that date? And then who will I take?
All right.
Because I think I had booked for 6 or something. So thankfully, I have a friend of mine who lives in Cape Town, Monene, who's a wine lover, and some other colleagues. So anyway, we managed to go.
Okay.
But as things usually happen, right?
Yeah.
I think it was a 9-course paired menu.
Wow.
For X amount of money, whatever paired with a wine, right? Of course, he didn't have his own wine then. This came in later. It's a Chenin Blanc.
Yeah.
Kumusha means home and roots and everything. Yes. So, of course, I pay homage to him. But he was the sommelier who served us that evening.
Yeah.
So, of course, we get there and I'm like, hey, these other guys said you are late, but we are 3.
Yeah.
Let's just start.
They'll come in.
The other guys will find us at whatever stage or whatever cost, but we'll pay full price.
Yeah.
They refused. They're very strict on how they do stuff, like it's an orchestra.
Yes.
So we were on glass number 3 of wine when my friends arrived. And of course, now we had the group, but then very, very great service.
Yeah.
Small plates, they got the gas station menu, whatever they call it. Yeah. But it was such a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
And it was one of those never should do. I mean, I don't know whether I'll be able to do it again.
Yeah, it's just one of those experiences. It's a one-time experience.
Yeah. But then so part of his story is like he's, of course, being a sommelier in such a restaurant, you're serving a whole lot of wine. You have to have a big selection. And you're thinking, why can't I have my own that I can serve, right? And he's done really well. I think he's even gone into coffee now.
Yeah.
So I was happy to find Kumusha here because, again, I can connect it to the Test Kitchen story.
Yeah.
I know during COVID, they shut down. And they also have some other offshoots, I think Potluck Club and I forget the names when we go to Cape Town.
For sure.
Yeah. Of course, Canon Cop based in Stellenbosch, red wine estate. They do a lot of Pinotage and Cabernet Sauvignon. And one of their wines was scored once 100 points by one of the wine critics, right? And you say a lot of people here drink... Oh, actually, this was... I think it was a Chenin. It was Sauvignon Blanc, right?
Yeah.
You say a lot of people here drink red wine.
Red wine.
Yeah? For what? Because it's indoors.
I think it's also the food aspect.
The food aspect as well, right?
The food aspect.
Yeah.
A lot to do with the food aspect.
And I guess we are having some French bubbles.
Yes.
It's not champagne, it's vin bubble.
Yes.
Roots. For this time of day, it's really nice and light. And then we have, of course, Gamay from Burgundy, from Louis Latour. I don't know my French.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this Chateauneuf du Pape from the Rhone Valley. Amazing, awesome wine. You're coming for level 2.
Yes, I am.
So we shall delve more into that. But then wine is an integral part of your service.
Menu and the service.
So people always order wine typically when they come for a meal?
I honestly, I didn't think it was such a big deal. For me, I just thought, okay, people are here for food. People are here for great service. Until there's once I decided, listen, the wine is sitting on the shelf. I'm tired of seeing wine on the shelf. So I said, I'm going to limit my selection.
Yeah.
And just go with a few bottles.
150 plus.
Yeah, just like
200 plus.
Just go with a few bottles, just reduce the menu.
Yeah.
And I had that period guests complain.
Oh, really?
They were like, oh, your menu is too, it's too little, or, you don't have enough selection of wine. I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, you've got 3 bottles of, like 3 options in terms of like house wines.
Yeah.
4.
Yes, by the glass options.
Options. You've got sparkling, you've got champagne, then you've got glasses white and red. I'm like, and bottles. I'm like, how? Then I just like, okay, fine. Let me change that.
Yeah.
And let me kind of like see what's gonna happen. So I increased to 6-8 bottles by glass. I mean, by
glass option.
Option. Whites are still limited because we don't have a lot of white wine drinkers. I think, first of all, not Kenyan palates are not accustomed to the acidity. I'm not sure. You will correct me.
Sure.
You will correct me.
Yeah.
I feel like I struggle personally maybe with a highly acidic white wine. And also whites are also known to be for easy drinking or drinking alone, not really pairing with food. Yes, there are those that are Chardonnays that are there for food. But at the same time, it really goes with maybe your starters and maybe a fish dish, and that's about it. While red may be a bit more diverse. Okay. So you have someone who can start off with a red, with a starter, and finish off with it. Dessert.
And again, are you buying a bottle, or is it like the paired service? Okay.
Exactly. And it's just like, okay, fine. And when I increased, or when I had more options onto the menu, it's when I realized, okay, now the wine is moving more. Okay. At the point of when I reduced the wine list, I stocked the spirits. I was like, yeah, let's go. Because I'd really also switched my mind
to spirits. Yes.
Spirits.
Yeah.
When you're doing drinks, food, wine, spirits will come up. Yeah. You still need to understand the kind of spirits and what those spirits entail. And also you have clientele who are spirit based. And when they come to your place and they don't have what they want, they get very disappointed because a spirit person will not drink wine, but a wine person can drink a spirit. So there's that. So I just had to kind of figure that out. And once I did, and I realized, well, there's once a client came who I thought they really love spirits, and they'll actually come to a restaurant because I enjoy their food and wine.
And wine, love it.
I'll drink my spirits at home. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And that's how I was like, okay, wine it is.
I really want to sort of spend some time on the floor. All right. Of wine restaurants to understand
the dynamic.
Some of the, to test some of the assumptions we make about people's preferences and whatever. Yeah. But of course, I always say, let people drink what they want to drink. Yeah, for sure. So when you're serving red wine, hey, I'm happy. Yeah. sell more red wine,
No,
and all that. But then I'm always curious to have that one-on-one interaction with a customer because, of course, I'm very education focused.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the fact that people have all this sort of, we're making assumptions and yet they're asking for more, like when you reduce your wine list, makes me happy as an educator because it means, I guess, the more we provide, the more we educate, and people then, can be more demanding of the wines
exactly
they want to drink.
And also the market has changed.
Lovely.
People are asking for more sophisticated wine.
Hallelujah.
The people are really asking for something that is different.
Yeah.
And I'm also struggling trying to find things that are different because
there's a lot. There's so, and maybe that's maybe the other problem wine people have is there's so much fragmentation because there's so much choice and diversity.
Yes, exactly.
Good thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which our South African friends don't have, for example. They only have South African wines. And of course, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Even within the South African wines.
Yeah.
But here, there's many countries, there's Serbian wines, there's Lebanese wines, Moldovan wines, and then there's all the big countries too.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing that we are spoiled for choice.
Yes.
But then I think the key is for people to understand, number one, if someone asks for this, maybe what are the alternatives?
Exactly.
Or what can I give within this range? But then, the world is our oyster, and I'm happy.
It is.
And I'm happy that, it has really grown. Oh, even in the 6 years you've been open.
Oh, yes, there's a big difference.
Huge difference. You can imagine how it was. My business has been on for 10 years.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
But there's only so upwards to go.
Yeah.
And of course, even with our own brands, like Tinashe has his own brand, we also need more of our own brands to, continue with the likes of Mara Wines that's owned by a Kenyan, but, they get the wine from South Africa.
Yeah.
The Leshwa, of course, that is ours, and many more to come.
Yeah, right.
Maybe as we come to winding up, I think about the food I've had here.
Okay.
And I know you change your menu often. So we're thinking about lunch.
Okay.
And I remember there was a lamb dish that used to be set up like a pyramid. I have to look for the picture, like the lamb chops.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That was, I know I had that more than once, quite a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then there was a particular pasta that had, is it squid ink?
Squid ink, yes.
So the sauce was black.
The sauce was black, yes. You remember that? Wow.
No, because where else have I had that, right?
Yeah.
So are those still on your menu?
No.
Really? Okay.
The menu has changed.
Okay.
So I think also the time you're here, the menu is very Western. It was European.
Oriented. All right. Okay.
It's a few things on the menu are still out.
Okay.
But
there's lamb in a different version.
There's lamb with
squid ink.
So we've got lamb. We've got a typical lamb and peas.
Okay.
With mint, which for me also plating and how you plate a plate, just makes a difference. It's not minji stew, So that's the difference because you can maintain the protein, but you can change everything around.
Okay.
So the lamb is still there, but in essence, the different version. Pasta has changed.
Okay.
We don't have pasta. It's just the complexity of storing and keeping it fresh, making it fresh.
Oh, because you used to make it in-house.
Okay, we make the pasta in-house.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just like, am I able to sustain it?
Okay.
Is it going to be the same every time? And because you'll have pasta, maybe someone will come have pasta maybe twice a week. And then, so what do you do?
What do you do with the rest?
With the rest, even though you make the dough today, you can't really keep it till tomorrow. So there's wastage. So there's certain things that I had to look at and just be like, okay, we need to cut that off.
Yeah.
Until we're actually ready to make it on a daily basis.
Okay.
So we've had other
variations.
Like rabbit.
Oh.
Put on the menu. We've got things like camel. Just looking at the heritage of Kenya.
Love it.
You're looking at the north. Camel. So, hey, come try camel. Then, we have rabbits. That was based off the story of, my dad used to like hunt rabbits.
Okay.
When he was younger. So that was like have something that could, he could remember.
Okay.
And you know, like have it differently, because for them it was obviously butcher the thing and burn it. You know, now this is like a different way
of cooking it.
Then we've got like banana textures, where you've got banana puree, you've got sweet banana, you've got deep fried plantain,
and that's not in desserts only.
And that is a starter. That's not dessert. That is starter. It's slightly sweet, but the aspect sweet where you have almond nuts that bring a savory aspect. So it's just changing the narrative in terms of bringing our things that we have and presenting them and cooking them in a different way style. Yeah.
So you talked about the French dish that changed your life, and then there was that quote about, I want to present myself on a plate.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Has that meal been created, and what is it?
That meal is still being created.
Okay, what is the closest thing to it right now that if I saw it, I would say this is Kim Kiarie on a plate?
I think it's everything that okay, so maybe you're looking for a specific plate or dish. I don't know. But everything that I put out, I expect it to be a work of art. I call the plate is a canvas. The plate is my canvas. So everything that comes onto that plate has to define who I am, and define what the restaurant is. And also be able to put that into the people who are, because I can't always be the one doing it. If I did that, I'd be gone.
Yeah, you have to make sure.
I have to make sure that things still run even though I'm not here. But we're still getting there.
Because you were in Zanzibar recently. In Mombasa, the restaurant was still operational.
You get a heart attack like every evening. You have to be like, hey, how you guys doing? Well, any complaints? But you just have to hand things over, and hopefully, you have trusted people who can run with the idea. But I think, do I have? I don't know. I just believe everything that I put out is what
has your signature.
It has
your signature.
It has. Because I like, if honestly, if you asked, if chefs were asked to put their plates on online, I think the people who know me would be able to pick out my plate.
If we did like a blind tasting for chefs.
For sure. I believe someone who has a history and has been to the restaurant or has my socials, if they looked at my plate,
they would know it's yours. That would be an interesting challenge. I'll try and take pictures of chefs in the market, and then ask people to, and then give a multiple choice. Match the plate with the share.
I think
interesting, like a wine blind tasting, but now this is
a chef's plate tasting.
Chef's plate tasting.
So I feel like they would be able to get it.
They'll be able to get it. But we'll come back.
Okay.
By the time we're doing the 10th anniversary, whatever you'll be serving us there, I'm sure we'll have your signature on it.
But I've got something coming. But guys should just look out for it.
So you just want to give us a teaser and make us keep coming. We'll keep coming. We shall keep coming, no problem. Maybe I need to give a discount code. Over here
maybe a free glass
this,
of wine.
Discount code. Subscribe for more information about how to get with dinner or something like that. True. My goodness, this has been such a masterclass, and I'm stopping myself from sort of asking about cooking shows. Or which restaurants you like that are not yours, or which chefs you admire out there. But then, if you are not here in Kilimani today, where would you, if you were starting this from scratch today, where would it be? Perhaps would it still be here?
No.
Knowing what you know now, because of course you've been back, you've had the business for 6 years. Where would you set up something, and would it be in the same?
I think first of all it will be, if let's say if it was a blank check.
Exactly. Blank check type. Manifest. Of course, Wanjiru with the sommelier on the floor. Yes. Other than that,
somewhere towards, the Riviera, Roslyn, side. I think that would be.
Not Kiambu Road. You're very specific.
Kiambu Road, Kiambu Road, that's a different. You know what? That would still be your your
catchment area.
Catchment area.
Yes.
Because obviously Kiambu Road has its reputation and the community and the estates along the road. But you still want to be on this other side of Kiambu Road.
Okay.
Yeah. Which
I get the road you're talking about. Okay. Yeah.
So ideally, I've thought about it. I haven't done the research on the ground.
Okay, good.
I just, there are restaurants in Kitosuru, so you're looking at competition and you're looking at, there's a way you need to distribute yourself. Even as a business.
Sure.
As a business person.
Okay.
You don't go, that kind of, because we're in a building where we have competition like every day. People
there's something downstairs.
It's like always like, okay, go check. Are they busy? You're not busy. You're just like, oh man, you see them coming. They're not busy. You're busy. So there's that. You kind of want to remove that aspect and want to be in not your own shell. But you want to separate yourself from other people. Nairobi is getting very small.
And I feel like you want to make yourself a destination.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's some restaurants that are in quite strange places, but apparently still get the foot traffic on from wherever. From wherever.
So it's just about just having that kind of environment that that suits what you're presenting, because also Kilimani has changed in terms of even the building next
yes. Our view has been blocked. I used to sit by that window.
Exactly. So it's changing. So a lot of things have changed. What it was 6 years ago is not what it is now. So it's very it's not suburban, it's not what it used to be. So it's kind of shifted.
Yes.
So when you even tell someone the restaurant is in Kilimani, what are you, fine dining? Okay. That's so when you come in is when you'll be like, oh yeah, but once you step out you're reminded, oh yeah, I mean Kilimani, it's different.
Yes.
So there's that aspect where so you look at the price, and maybe also that's why if someone will look at the price on the menu and be like, okay, it's a bit high for Kilimani, because you're not expecting
that price. But then it's not just any Kilimani. I think it's about what is 5 cents.
Yeah, what is 5 cents? And that's what I like. That's why, even when it reached 6 years, because we renovated this year, for me, we needed to change the narrative, the story. It's now 6 years. Okay, now we're grown up. We know what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, we know what we're doing, and it's value for money.
Get a green up shade of gray and
green. Dark colors and
gold. Okay.
Black, and just have that kind of going where it's more appreciative to the mature crowd. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chef Kim.
Karibu.
This has been quite a journey. I'm glad we've come back to kind of revive, and of course we'll be coming back more and more to look at those things on your menu. I look forward to a sumptuous lunch today, and I'm sure we'll get some pictures of you in action. In the kitchen, and of course service, and people can get to experience the space a lot more.
For sure.
But I am so grateful to you and Mom.
No, thank you.
Yeah, because I also met her right at the very beginning.
Yes, you met her fast. Then
it's like I know you're a twin, but it's I haven't met your twin.
Yeah.
But even just the support you receive from her, and she was quite a regular as well.
Yes, sure.
In the space, and even just for your support through our own initiatives.
Thank you.
We really, really thank you, and we continue looking forward to many more of those.
Yeah, cheers to that.
So we toast to the next phase, and happy 6th year anniversary.
Thank you so much.
Okay. There you have it. Fine dining is possible even within Kilimani. What a lovely story from here in Nairobi to Europe, to Qatar, and back home. You can really identify Kim Kiarie on a plate because that is his arts and canvas. I will try and do some blind tasting to see whether I can identify, but indeed he has that signature. Thank you so much on this edition of Chef and Sommelier. I should say sommelier. Because until I'm actually on that floor serving and managing a big cellar, I will stick to educating sommeliers and educating you about the world of wine and what's available in Nairobi. Thank you. Please subscribe and watch all the other videos of the lovely conversations we're having with Wine Giro. Until next time, goodbye.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.